Welcome in to the Rams postgame show. We're here on House of Horns. I'm a little excited, Gilbert. Sorry, we're a little late. I just want to say thank you to everybody in the comments. We'll get to them, but a great gutsy win by the Rams, 27-24. Gilbert, I just want to get your thoughts on this. I almost got the score right in my prediction. I said 28-25, so I got kind of that right. So yeah, good win for the Rams. Just want to have your takeaways here.
Yeah, how about all those people that wrote off the Rams? They're dead. Here's the obit, RIP 2024 LA Rams. People just freaking out. And you know what? I got the game wrong. I chose the 49ers, but I chose the Rams to cover. They covered and they
Yes.
won the freaking game. And I also said those people that are counting out the Rams definitely did not watch last year. They aren't paying attention to all the injuries on the 49ers, but who cares about the injuries? The Rams had it too. And then after Jake Moody missed that field goal, all you need is a little chance, a little glimmer of hope. And then the Rams rally for, I want to say it was like 10 points, 13 points in the final
Yes.
13 minutes. 3 minutes. After Moody missed, it was 3 minutes ago. Touchdown, not bomb, but sorry, I'm losing my track here. So much of chaos.
Yes. I
To
got
Tutu
you.
Atwell, Kyren Williams, touchdown, tie the game, and then a beautiful defensive effort from Chris Shula's defense, who answered the call after a terrible performance in Arizona. You stop them, punt, and then you get the Joshua Cardi field goal. So a big win for the Rams. Their young kicker did not miss, and they made it count. And then one fun fact here for the people trying to write off teams this early, all the teams that were winless, 0-2, facing a 1-2 team, they all won. So everybody has the same record, 1-2, 1-2. 5 teams win today at 0-2 records.
Yeah, I saw that. That's a great stat by you. And then there's three team the quarterbacks for the three teams that are 3-0. Gilbert, can you know who they are?
Yes, Sam freaking Darnold, Justin Fields, and I actually forgot the other one because I was focused on Fields and Darnold for
Geno
writing.
Smith,
Oh yeah,
Gilbert.
they have not been on my radar, and I really don't care about them just yet. They're kind of just getting by, but I guess
Yes.
we have to care now for the standings because 3-0
Yes,
does look good.
they're in first place in the AFC West, but we're not here to talk about them. We're here to talk about the Rams and Gilbert. The Rams win probability was as low as 3.2 with 4:14 remaining in the fourth quarter. Matthew Stafford had led 2 scoring drives in under a minute. The touchdown run by Kyren Williams, and then the Cardi field goal to win it with 2 seconds to go. One more thing in terms of Josh Cardi hitting that 37-yard field goal with 2 seconds to go. Cardi was unable to practice all week, Gilbert, and he because they were holding him out of practice because of a growing issue. So ice in the veins there for Josh Cardi.
Yeah.
And then Gilbert, as we said, Rams special teams lead the way for the Rams. I mean, a year ago they were one of the worst in NFL history. And Xavier Smith with that great punt return under a minute to go to set up the game winning field goal. So shout out to the special teams. I know special teams wasn't talked about. We said if they're gonna win some games, if special teams is just average enough, they're going to be able to win some of those games that they weren't last season. And shout out to the special teams coordinator Blackburn, because he took a lot of crap at the end of the season, and he's done a really good job with. And shout out to the Rams for putting Xavier Smith in the game. I mean, that was his first ever punt, and he sets him up in great field position. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was great by the Rams special teams.
I'm glad you highlighted Xavier Smith. There was so much that happened in the final 3 minutes that I totally forgot about that. But yes, you don't get upfield quickly for that Cardi field goal without that too. So yeah, you get the long bomb to Tutu, and shout out to Tutu Atwell. I'll say I
Yes,
wrote him off. I say yeah,
same.
Tutu Atwell. Yeah, right. He ain't gonna do anything, and he almost had a deep pass, but they reviewed it and it wasn't good. But to get 93 receiving yards, 4 catches, have that 50-yard catch to set up Kyren Williams. Kyren Williams, we also challenged him on the show. I'm
Yes.
sure he's not paying attention to the show, but we
No.
put a challenge saying, hey, Kyren, do what you did last year and help this team out. And when you have Matthew Stafford, you're always going to have a chance. So all around, defensive effort too, special teams, the guys who are not used to playing, like a Whittington or Xavier Smith. I know he wasn't doing it as a receiver, but special teams. But all these guys that didn't have their number called just stepped up enough to help out Stafford. So what a and also people were saying, it was an injury, but I think I saw a comment here. But take all the credit here because there was injuries on
Yes.
both sides. Even
Yes.
we can't forget about the Rams offensive line. So I'm sure this one's gonna sting for Kyle Shanahan. I'm sure it's a good one for the rivalry there between Sean and Kyle.
Yeah, and as you said, I mean, now the Rams have a winning streak versus the 49ers for the first time in the Sean McVay era. Now they won two in a row against the 49ers. Also, Gilbert, remember I gave you that stat about how the Rams don't do well coming back in games. The Rams 14-point comeback win is
Oh,
largest under Sean McVay, and the biggest one since week two of 2012 season versus the Washington Commanders. I guess back then they were the Redskins, but yeah, I mean, incredible. I mean, they a bunch of good things coming out of this game in terms of you know what we expected going into this game. And as you talked about, especially with Kyren Williams, I thought he was really impressive in this game, running the ball. We saw a lot of 12 personnel in this game, Gilbert, which we haven't seen before this game. All their snap were in 11 personnel. We saw a bunch of 12 personnel in this game. Hunter Long was outstanding blocking. You brought up Jordan Whittington with some great blocks as well to free up Kyren Williams for a couple of those touchdowns. So shout out to those guys. Blocking matters, and a lot of those guys you're not going to see those in the stats. And just a really good game from those two guys, Hunter Long and Jordan Whittington. I wanted to make sure that I pointed that out because they clear some lanes for Kyren Williams, and as you talked about, three big touchdowns. They don't win this game without those big touchdowns. But also, I want to give credit to the defense, as you talked about. They kept them in this game. That was a big sack. Brock Purdy was running around there for a little bit, but they were able to clamp down late in the game and force them to punt the ball. And then that missed field goal, Gilbert, by the 49ers, that was huge.
yeah. Obviously, to give some negative side, you got to defend better. Jawan Jennings just lit him up
Yes,
early for 3 quarters, but
yes,
hey, when it mattered, the defense stepped up. So that seems to be the one thing that I have real issues with the Rams is defending the deep ball, defending downfield, and just making sure you have that tighten up a little bit. But overall, it was a good effort. And going back to your points of having 12 personnel and having unique ways to block here with such a banged up offensive line, and it makes all the difference in the world when you have your left tackle Alaric Jackson there. So just having a couple guys there to help you out, and then adding some help with the tight ends and the wide receivers, especially because these were jobs that Cooper Cup and Puka Nakua had. They're star wide receivers, but they also helped out in blocking. So this is why I'm always going to be a little lenient on Sean McVay whenever he does something kind of like, why do you do that? Or what is he doing here? Because he knows how to game plan. He knows how to adjust to
yeah,
the personnel. He knows how to scheme it up. And sometimes, when it looks very bleak and you have a bunch of injuries and you're facing, a powerhouse like the 49ers, it's all about scheming it up, X's and O's. Who has a better game plan? Who has a better approach? And sometimes the script goes your way, and this one didn't because they were losing pretty early. But
yeah.
it's all about making enough to hang around and make a rally. And the reason why I was also a little behind because I was seeing if the Cowboys are going to make a rally, they couldn't pull it off, but the Rams did, and it was such a unique final 20 minutes on this Sunday here before Sunday Night Football. But I just keep going back to coaching, and again, a bunch of upsets occur, and this is why we like football because you just never know.
Yeah, and I go back. I tweeted out the meme with Obadiah Stane from Iron Man. He's like, he was able to do this with the bunch of scraps in a cave, and honestly, that's what Sean McVay did. I mean, look, as someone pointed out, the Rams win the injury bowl because both teams were out without their stars. So there's no excuses. You can't say, well, we were missing our guys. Both teams were missing their guys. The 49ers were missing McCaffrey. You had their tight end missing in this game, and then also Debo. So, and then with the Rams, we know the injury situation there. So I mean, just a really good job by McVay, as you pointed out, Gilbert. But I wanted to ask you this, just I know we don't have you on for a long time here, but I wanted to ask you, was this a saving season win by the Rams? Was
I think so. I know it's kind of ridiculous to make it sound that important. 3 games into the season, but we've seen the stats. When you fall on 3, it's a big uphill battle, and you could do it, but when you have a lot of injuries and they keep piling up, like it just feels good to have one too from the mental
Yeah.
standpoint. Beating a rival like that at home, sending a bunch of 49ers home unhappy that invaded SoFi Stadium. I see some of the comments here. I'm sure the
Yeah.
Rams fans enjoyed that, but all that does matter. So to have 1-2 feels so much better than 0-3, and that's why that was kind of the takeaway for me for week 2. Is like these teams are just desperate, and they're facing another a one-on-one team, and they come out victorious. Like we saw it with the Ravens and the Cowboys. We saw it with the Giants and the Browns. The Panthers beating the Raiders. Sorry about that, Victor. But
Hmm.
all these teams, it takes a lot to bring them down to 0-3, and even myself when I get the Vikings picks wrong because they're much better than the 3-14 team. So that's parity in the league. That's
Yep.
you just never
Injuries.
know. Injuries,
Yeah.
things happen, game script
Yep.
happen, who's getting who at what time during the season. So 1-2 again is so much better than 0-3. And I just laugh because I didn't fall into the trap. A lot of people just wrote off the Rams, and it was an
Yep.
embarrassing performance in Arizona, but Arizona didn't really do much against the Detroit Lions. So every week is different.
It really is, and I always talk about this, Gilbert. Like, every time I see people making picks, and they're like, you don't know, especially like I said, you want to wait 4 weeks into the season because a lot of these teams don't play their starters during the preseason, and the Rams are one of those, and they're the ones that got this trend going, and you don't know, like that's why part of the reason why the Rams people put them for dead last season, and then they were 3-6, and they were able to turn their season around at 3-6 and get into the playoffs at 10-7. All right, Gilbert, let's get to these comments real quick before you have to go. Delbert Salgado says Cardi for the win, not too crazy about coin flips this young season. It's with the young team, Gilbert, it's going to be an up and down season, right?
Yeah, and especially you add an injury. So yeah, as long as they win a couple of some of these coin flip games, why not?
Yes, exactly. Joaquin Quijada says, "Good to see you, fellas. Great game, great comeback as a team. McVay finally got over himself and finished the game running. Missed tackles in our secondary won't last the season playing that way."
Uh-uh.
But yes, yeah, that's a very good put by Joaquin there. We got Happy Gilmore, LFG. So good to see that. Good to see Happy Gilmore. And says again, Joaquin says overall Stafford proved once again that he still has it. The offensive line against a dominant defense showed promise. Get to know the damn ball. Wide receiver room controversies all over. Big catch from Tutu. Thoughts
Remember when people wanted to trade Stafford this week? Yeah, send him to the Panthers or send him to the Raiders, and I'm like, really?
or
They
the
still
Dolphins?
or the Dolphins? He's still one of the like he's still much better. You don't want Bryce Young because we saw what happened to Andy Dalton. Stafford is still top 10, top 5. Even if he's banged up, he's still top 12. He's one of the better quarterbacks in the league. You're always gonna have a chance. Even the stat line wasn't the best for Stafford, but to make it work with what he had, again, you're going back to the reference of the scrap parts. You don't make that work without Stafford pushing the buttons. Obviously, you got the Brainiac and Sean McVay, but that doesn't work without Stafford on the field.
That is for sure. We got LAFC Beast. This is my mental health is in a good state. So there we go. Daniel Calderon, our guy. Thank God we stole one. We needed this one bad. See, so I love these comments because it tells you that they know this Rams team really well in terms of they know they stole that game. I mean, especially when you had a probability that you weren't going to win this game with about 4 minutes to go. That's it's good to see people on here, giving us their opinion. And then James Wheelock, we went from bitterness to elation, and he also says, "I'm at a sports bar having my victory beer." So
Hey,
enjoy that beer. We will get to
congrats.
our 12-pack of the player of the game later on in this episode, but we're trying to go as quickly as possible. Joaquin, he goes, after that I got all night. So he because I said, thank you for being patient, and we'll be on soon. So, uh, Alex says, hi, everyone. Happy Sunday to you. It says ATL here in a virtual group chat with you. So that's awesome. We got people on a virtual group chat checking us out. So that's
Ah,
awesome.
okay. What's up,
Uh,
Alex?
he Joaquin says never leading in a 20. Yeah, they didn't lead until 2 seconds to go in the game, so it's a signature win for Stafford and McVay, says Joaquin. And then it says San Francisco YouTube pages are losing their minds. And then our guy, all good things. Who we haven't seen in a while. Victory in the injury bowl. I'll take it. So pretty cool. Joaquin says when everyone doubted special teams, they make a play when least expected, especially when it's expected to be a routine play. So pretty cool. Gilbert, just give me your final thoughts, and I'll get to these comments after you head out.
Yeah.
Just give me just your final thoughts, and then also, just who gets your 12 pack beer of beer player of the game?
Yeah, so before I head out, because I got to watch the Sunday Night Football game, I'm a little behind because of the Rams' chaotic comeback, Victor. So I was writing about the
Yeah,
Rams, and it took me a little longer. But yeah, flood the comments because Victor's going to hang on for a bit, ask him questions, and he will break it down for you. And also wish Victor a happy birthday because today
oh,
is his birthday. So
thank you.
even better here for Rams fans. They get
Yes,
Victor a happy birthday boy here, and then a victory rallying against the 49ers. So shout out to you, Victor, for
thank
a
you.
happy birthday. And yeah, it was just a gutsy performance. I'm gonna keep patting myself on the back. I got the pick wrong, but I got them to cover, and I said don't write this team off just yet. So they made me look better on the analysis there. But I wish I would have picked them. You did, Victor. So you're having a perfect day today. So just Tutu Atwell stepping up. I did not see that coming. I thought he was kind of like, okay, out of the rotation. Let's move on from that second round pick in 2021. And you needed Tutu Atwell to step up, and he did it. So hopefully he makes kind of a role here for himself, and McVay not shying away from him, Stafford not shying away from him, even though he's been an up and down player throughout his career. You needed guys to step up, and you gave them opportunities, and they delivered. So that to me, went a long way. And then just having Kyren Williams go back to what he did in 23, another player people wrote off. Oh, he's gonna be doing the punting. Oh, he's returning kicks. Oh, he's in
Yeah,
the doghouse. He's gonna have a crappy year. Or like, oh, Blake Corum, the draft pick, he's gonna eat into Kyren Williams. Well, he had 3 total touchdowns today, 1 receiving, 2 rushing. I want to say about 78 yards rushing. But having that balance and having Kyren Williams be your star player to help you out, because we just kind of overlooked him like he's just a nobody. No, he's a great player and he stepped up. So seeing Kyren do that, Stafford being a gamer, and then all the players that stepped up, uh, even the defense doing their part. Yeah, it was shaky with Juan Jennings or Jawan Jennings and Brock
Juwan
Purdy like
Jennings.
that. That should have been the story. We would have talked about look at Purdy making it work without his star players, and everybody calling him overrated. Well, he didn't he didn't get the job done there. I'm sure that's a little sweeter for Rams fans, but hey, it was ugly for 3 quarters, and the defense doing what they needed to do. Like honestly, we're starting to see the identity of this team, Victor. Like it's gonna be
Yeah,
some rough days for the defense, but just do enough, and they're always gonna battle offensively as long as they have Stafford in there and Kyren obviously too. But it seems like one of these teams are like, yeah, maybe they won't take off to like Super Bowl status, but they're always gonna be there, and that's all you need is a
exactly.
chance to be in the playoff hunt. If you get into the playoffs, you might go pretty far. But that's what I'm taking away at the 3 games. Maybe I'll give you a better assessment after the first quarter, which is after 4 games. But they seem scrappy, but not a scrappy team where like they're not going to win many games. They just seem like a team that is going to hover around that 10, 8, 9 victories kind of range, and they're finding ways to do it, and that's very creative for them.
Yeah, and you just at this, you just need to get above water as we talked about, Gilbert, and then go from there, and then try to get in the playoffs, and then once you get in the playoffs, is a whole different situation. But right now, I think the number one priority for them is just to get above water, get some of those guys back after the bye week, and then go from there. And then just give me your who gets your 12 pack. Who's your player of the game?
Obviously, it would be like Tutu or Kyron. But you know what? You made a great point on special teams. So you know what? Cardi, the kicker, and Xavier Smith, who we heard about in the preseason, having that return. Go ahead and open up that 24 pack, and you know what? Dish it all around to people because it
Yeah.
was a team effort today.
Yeah, it was a team effort and it was a great win. But Gilbert, thank you so much for giving us. I know you had to stay late because some of these games went late, but we appreciate the time. I'll stick around here, answer some of the comments on here for a few minutes, and then kind of give my final thoughts in terms of what this means for this team and going forward. But we'll see you back on Wednesday for the preview versus the Chicago Bears. That'll be a good one as we see a Bears team that is not playing well right now, and they
Not
can't
good.
seem to protect Caleb Williams. So, Gilbert, once again, thank you, and then we'll see you. I'll try to transition here the best I can because I haven't done this in a while. But again, thank you for joining us, and thank you for the well wishes on my birthday today. Thank you.
Yeah, end the birthday on a strong note, and Rams
Yeah.
fans, enjoy the victory. I'll see everybody
All right.
later.
All right, Gilbert. Have a good one. All right, guys. So I'm back here. We're gonna get through the rest of the episode with me here. I'm gonna try to figure this out in terms of how I'm gonna do this. With there we go. We're gonna do this way, since I don't have a option here. But all right, guys. Great win for the Rams overall, as I said, and in terms of my thoughts, my final thoughts for this game, I thought the Rams played was as scrappy as I talked about in the preview leading up to this game. When we previewed this game, we talked about how they needed to be scrappy in this game. We wanted to see this Rams team be more show more fight than we saw against the Cardinals, and they did that. And McVay, man, just one of his, as I talked about, I make the comparison in Iron Man, the movie with Tony Stark and what he's been able. I said McVay is able to build things when he doesn't have all his weapons here, and for him to be able to scrap up this offensive line, and he went all out. You saw the fake punt there. Special teams was huge in this game, as Gilbert just talked about it. And we talked about as well with this team and their special teams. A lot of people wanted Blackburn fired after the season, and we said, hey, he didn't have all, because of this was such a young team. A lot of players had to play on special teams last season, and now having players that he can use like Spates. I know a lot of people want to see Speeds on as a linebacker, but I thought Troy Reader. I mean, he had a great tackle for loss there. Down in the second half. So I think we need to be a little bit more patient with this team going forward. And as I said as well, like you have to give these teams. A lot of people overreact after the the first two games, third game. You need to give these teams about a month or so before we know what they really are. And but yeah, I really like this was a great gutsy win for the Rams, and it saved the season. Like I that was it was that big of a win, especially doing it against a division rival in the 49ers. Good to see that from the Rams, and just step up and play really well. So that was awesome to see. Uh, Let me get back to these comments and then we'll finish up this show. I really appreciate everybody being patient. As I said, keep sending your comments. Well, I'll get to them here and then we'll finish off this show. Johnny G says, bang, bang, choker gang. So shout out to you, Johnny. Michael Armenta says, today was a good day. Yep, it really was. It was an outstanding performance there. Great comeback win. I think a lot of people thought, especially when the Rams just didn't have any answers for the 49ers early on, they fell behind. Just seeing the Rams come back, it was that's what we wanted to see, especially after that loss to the Cardinals. I think a lot of people were disappointed in the effort. A lot of the young guys stepped up, and that was really good to see. Daniel Calderon says, with our start left tackle, it's all night and day, and honestly, getting Alaric Jackson back was huge. He did have a false start there penalty, but outside of that, I thought the line held up pretty good against this really stout front seven of the 49ers. Michael Hoyt, I mean, was also really good. I know I like moving over to the defensive side, but I thought he really played. And then Daniel Calderon says, "Glad Leonard Floyd took an L, left LMFAO." So that was pretty good to see as well. He didn't have much of an impact in this game. All good things says, nice game for Byron Young. He had a great game in this. I thought the thing that really impressed me about him today wasn't not only his pressures coming off the edge, but also setting the edge and stopping some of those runs. I thought that was really a key, especially kind of outside of letting Brock Purdy run around, which I think that was that was the way they wanted to play. That's the way Chris Shula wanted to do things because he wanted to keep everybody in front of him because they didn't want to get beat. We've seen uh, the Rams the last couple games, as Gilbert brought up, the Juwan Jennings, they continue to get beat deep, and so to see him to see them kind of play everything in front, I understood why they played it that way. And hey, look, at the end of the day, they got the win. So that was a good game plan by Chris Shula in this game. Mike Armenta says, "I love seeing Weiner fans leaving all quiet." I saw a video out there where you just see a bunch of red just leaving the field sad. So that was Ram fans take that I'm sure that's awesome to see that because it's been a while since you've been able to enjoy the Rams win at home versus the 49ers. So to be able, the last time was during the NFC title game when uh, the Rams clinched the win to go to the Super Bowl. Uh, Joaquin, are you asking what our thoughts are in terms of trading Ernest Jones to the Titans for a six? We talked about that last week. They especially missed them when they got blown out because there was no leadership. I thought today Troy Reader really played well, but yeah, it's been the linebacking core has been up and down. I think where they miss Ernest Jones the most is his leadership. I think they're gonna need someone to kind of step up and be that leader, and that's where they really miss him. All good things says every division wins are always crucial towards the end of the season, and that is true. Especially getting one against the 49ers. You're going to play the 49ers on a short week on a Thursday night. So getting this one is really important. You do not want to fall 0-3. We've seen what happens to teams when they fall to 0-3. Their percentage of making the playoffs goes down. So getting this win was really, really big for this Rams team because you just like I said towards the end with Gilbert, you want to stay above water, and then before you hit the bye week, and then even after the bye week, as you get some of your guys back. So a really big win, not just because it's against a divisional rival, a team that you haven't been able to beat now for a while, but being able to do this, being able to get this win now is huge. Tribe says Alaric makes such a big difference being in there in the O line, and that was one of my keys too. During our preview, we talked about. I said, look, it's not the starting five that you wanted along the offensive line, but it's the healthiest one you've had all season, like through the first two games and in preseason. So having Bo Limmer, who he had his struggles today against Hargrave, which is not not a lot of not a lot of centers do well against Hargrave, and that's to be expected, especially being a rookie seventh round pick out of Arkansas. I thought he held up good. You're gonna give up some sacks here and there, but I thought Logan Bruss as well. He left the game for a couple of plays, came back, and Alaric Jackson, and then Kevin Dotson, and then Rob Havenstein. I thought they held well. They held up well. And then playing that 12 personnel, I think that'll be something that a lot of people talk about this week because, as I mentioned, the first two games the Rams played 11 personnel through all their plays. So that was good to see a good offensive line play this week. All good things says, why aren't we giving the young guy Spates some burn? And I think it's going to take him a little bit to kind of learn the defense, but I think he's going to be a special teams guy, and we've seen him do really well there. So I'm okay with that. They continue to play some of your other guys like Troy Reader, Jake Hummel, and continue to rotate. I think eventually we're going to see Spates down the road. And then everybody, I really appreciate everybody wishing me a happy birthday. That's awesome. Gilbert mentioned that, so I really, really appreciate it from all good things. Michael Armenta says, "Happy birthday, Victor." Uh, a birthday victory better than happy birthday. Glad the Rams got you that victory, so thank you for that. Delbert saying, felicidades, compa Victor. I really thank you, Delbert, and everybody else. Joaquin says, prediction on Stafford in front of a fully healthy online, regardless of weapons. I think I think at this point you're just trying to have the best guys out there, and as long as you have that, you take that at any time. Don Corleone, who's a Lions fan, good win for the Rams. So good to see Don on here. Hey, that was a good, impressive win by the Lions in Arizona. That also helps the Rams. You just now the Rams got to take care of business when they face the Cardinals here at home. James Wheelock says the sports bar near my house have mostly 49ers. According to the waitress, I usually come after a Rams win. So there you go. It's a good win. We have some comments here that I won't mention on here, and have a victory beer. Yes, I will be having a victory beer, especially after that good win by the Rams. And then lastly, yeah, so thank you guys. Thank to everybody. Gilbert had to leave because he had to go and watch the Sunday night football game. Things ran a little late. And then all good things says Falcons might beat the Chiefs. Happy for Raheem Morris. Yeah, he's doing a great job, especially with that defense. We'll see what happens with the Falcons the rest of the season, but that'll be a good watch tonight between the Falcons and the Chiefs. But yeah, guys, a great win. Continue to send your comments. We'll get them on. As we talked about, we're going to have our preview for the Bears and Rams fan. The Rams go back on the road. It seems like they've been on the road. It was good to have them home and get this win, especially against the 49ers. I mean, now they're tied in the division with the 49ers at 1-2. So not only do you beat the 49ers, but you also knock them down. They have the same record as you. So a big win for the Rams nonetheless, and a victory Sunday here. Will give us your comments, let us know how you're feeling. We continue to send in your comments or replies. There's going to be some 49er fans that are mad, and they're going to get into the comments, as I've already seen a couple of them. So make sure you flood these comments. That way you guys show them that you how much you appreciate you getting this win. But have a good night, enjoy this win, and join us on Wednesday night at 6:30 Pacific time as we preview Bears versus Rams, and as the Rams look to get even on the season at 2-2. So please come back. And again, thank you to everybody for your happy birthday wishes. I really enjoy that. And as I said, a a really good win for the Rams. Now they move on to take on the Bears, but enjoy this for the next couple days. You can throw it in 49er fans, especially those that live here in Los Angeles. But that's all from me today. Have a nice rest of your day, guys. Can't wait to talk to you guys on Wednesday night.